Watch Zelda become a legend on your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda! After rocks!
Which way to go?
Good times! Pee hands! Levers! Zelda! Zelda! Zelda!
The Legend of Zelda. A never-ending adventure new for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda!
What's going on, and welcome back. So, with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom coming out in about a week's time, I thought I would share a story with you that has to do with this. The original Legend of Zelda. I'm going to try not to make this story too long, because I don't want to bore you, but you might want to stick around because this story might be a little bit interesting. So, in order for me to tell you this story, we need to go way back. I mean, way back to 1977, the year I was born. Okay? It was 77, I was born. I'm going to say about 78. Sometime around 78, I'm guessing. I'm not too sure, I'm probably like 1 year old by then. I'm guessing that, my mommy and my daddy didn't love each other anymore. So they got a divorce. As parents do. Parents get divorces because it's just a normal thing. They leave each other. The kids get 2 Christmases. And it's awesome. It's awesome. My dad, he paid child support. I'm 45 now, and I'm pretty sure he feels like he's still paying child support. No, just kidding, man. But no, my dad's awesome, dude. He hooks it up. He always hooks it up. Anyways, so, I'm living with my mom and my grandparents. And I lived with my grandparents for years. They raised me. And, I would go and stay the weekend. Well, not every weekend, but there was weekends I'd go stay with my dad. See, my mom lived with my grandparents, her parents, and my dad lived with his parents, my other grandparents, right? So, every other weekend or whatever, I'd go stay with my dad, and it was pretty cool, right? So, now, we're going to fast forward this story. You're like, what the hell's going on here? Just check it out. We're going to fast forward to 1988. I was 11 years old, okay? I had just got my first NES, and dude, I was obsessed. NES, that was my first gaming console. I'd never heard of like video games or anything like that until now. Well, actually it was 1986 when I first played the NES, and I was like, my mind was blown. Super Mario Brothers, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. I've never, seen anything like this before. It's mind-blowing. It wasn't until like 88, 87, 88 when I first got my console. And that's a whole other story for another time. But it was 88, I was 11. It was my weekend, I guess you could say, to go stay with my dad. So my grandmother picked me up, and dude, it's like, I don't know, call it fate, call it destiny, call it the planets aligning that day just perfectly, okay? My grandmother comes and picks me up. We go back to the house. I'm living with my grandparents. They live in the city limits. My dad and my other grandparents, they kind of live outside of the city limits. I wouldn't say like not in the middle of nowhere, but that's kind of what it felt like. Actually, it wasn't too far from where I was living. Anyways, we get to the house, and it's around, I'm playing outside or whatever. I come inside. It's kind of getting dark. It's around 7:30, almost 8 o'clock at night. My dad's not there. He's working. And my grandpa was... Oh, there's another spider on the wall. Dude, what's going on here? Every time I film a video, there's a spider crawling on my wall. Anyways, or was like, oh, so I'm at my grandparents' house, you know, gonna stay the weekend with my dad. He's working. My grandpa's out drinking, gambling. Let's be for reals here, man. Let's not sugarcoat nothing. My grandpa was out drinking and gambling, so it's just me and my grandma hanging out, right? And since my dad worked late, you know, I would always hang out with my grandma, and you know, I'd sleep with my grandparents until my dad got home, and he'd go and get me out of the bed and take me with him. So, like I said, it was about 7:30ish, 8 o'clock at night, and my grandma was like, let's go do something. Let's get out of the house. It's a Friday night, by the way, so I'm like, all right. It's like, what are we gonna do or whatever? She's like, let's go to the VFW and we're gonna go play bingo. I'm like, let's go, man. 11 years old. I'm like, yes. You know, I didn't give a shit what bingo was. I was just like, let's do it. So we leave the house and we go to the VFW. Was actually right now the VFW is not far from here. Well, it's not a VFW anymore, but that's besides the point. So I'm 11 years old. You know, I'm not old enough, obviously, to play bingo because they're playing for cash. And I'm sitting in this building with a bunch of old ladies, and my grandma's like, "Shh, I'm gonna give you a card." So they gave you these bingo cards, and they gave you this. I don't know what they're called exactly, but they're kind of like markers, but it's like an ink, and you like mark out the as they're calling the numbers, you mark them on the card. The way they're playing bingo this night was as soon as you filled the whole card up, you yelled bingo and you won whatever money they were playing for that round. I don't know if it was like a buy-in. There's a lot of people there, old ladies. I'm pretty sure there's some old men, but I just remember old ladies. And I don't know, they paid so much money to get in, and the winner won all the money that was in the pot. So my grandmother was like, she was like, shh, I'm gonna get you a card. Don't say anything. And she gave me one of those marker things, and she's like, just as they're calling out the numbers. My kid's being loud today. She's like, as they're calling out the numbers, mark out stamp out the numbers on the card. I was like, all right. You know, I'm 11, dude. I'm like excited. I'm like, ooh, I was doing something I wasn't really supposed to be doing, right? Participating in bingo. So they're calling out these numbers, and I'm like focused, man. Focused. I'm sitting there with my bingo card, and I'm like, oh, we have B12. And I'm like, boom. I'm marking out all the there. So they're calling out the numbers. I'm looking at the card. Ah, dude. I'm telling you, this night, it's like the planets aligned. For me. Anyways, they're calling these numbers out on, and every number they're calling out on, bam, bam. They're on this card that I have. I'm like, bam, bam. I'm just marking all these numbers out, right? And I kid you not, I shit you not. The last number they called was the last number I had on my card. I'm telling you, man, it was destiny. That night. So I was like, I marked it out, and I looked at my grandma, and she's not paying attention. I'm like, pulling on her shirt. She's like, what? I'm like, showing her the card. Look. And she's like, her eyes got huge. She's like, took the card. And she's like, bingo. She's all yelling bingo. Ah, the old ladies were clapping. I was sitting there. I was all lit. I was like, yeah, I was all clapping. I was all happy. You know. And she came back with a bunch of cash in her hand. So we left the VFW, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, how much money did you win? She's like, I didn't win anything. She's like, this is your money. I was like, what? I was like, how much is it? I was $100. $100! You know, when you're 11 years old in 1988, $100 is a lot of money, let me tell you. And I knew at that exact moment what I wanted to get, because she was like, tomorrow I'm going to take you to Kmart, because there was no such thing as Walmart. Not here at that time anyways. I'm sure Walmarts were everywhere else, but we didn't have one here at that time. She's like, I'm going to take you to Kmart, and you can get whatever you want. And I already knew exactly what I was going to get. I knew. So I couldn't sleep that night. I could not sleep excuse me, had a burp coming up. I could not sleep that night. I was like, dude, $100, $100. That's all I could think of, but that's not all I was thinking about, right? So we get up the next morning, and I get dressed. We have some breakfast, and we go to Walmart. I mean, we go to Kmart. And see, back then, the electronics section in Kmart was probably about the size of this room. It wasn't very big. You know, say this door that I have right here, you walk into the electronics, and right here on the wall there, they had a small glass counter that had, like, you know, shit in it. I don't know, I can't remember what was in there. Bibs and bobs or whatever. But behind this counter, they had, you know, their pegboard, and they had video games hanging on this wall. And we go to the, I'm looking at the games, and I'm like, I see the game that I want. And my grandma was like, what are you gonna get? You gonna get a game? I was like, yes, because she knew I like games, you know. And I only had one game at the time, which was the Super Mario Brothers, the game that came with the console. So I was like, I want that game right there. The Legend of Zelda. Dude, little did I know my life was about to change. I kid you not. And I think at the time, I want to say the game was like $90. I think. I'm not too sure. I might be wrong. I could be completely wrong. It might have been like $70. I don't know. Anyways, I didn't care. I had $100. All I wanted was this. Whatever change was left, I just let my grandmother have it. I didn't care. I got what I wanted. So we go back to my grandmother's house because I had an NES at home, but she had an NES at her house. They belonged to my cousins. And we get there, and I open up the box, and I pull out, you know, something I've never seen before in my life, a gold cart. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, dude, this is unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And I get the manual out, the instruction booklet, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, oh, look at this. It's awesome. This is awesome. If I can find, obviously I don't have the booklet anymore, the instruction manual. If I can find some pictures, I'll show them to you right now. But they had illustrations in there with Link and parts of the game, and I was like, I knew at that time that I was in for something special. I was gonna go on this grand, amazing adventure, right? So I pop the game in, the game starts, and I see the intro. So I see this intro, and you can see, you know, I'm watching all the items you can get. They're showing all the items that you can get. And like I said, that's when I knew something special was about to happen. I was fixing to go on this grand adventure. And then the game starts. And I didn't know what to do. Like a lot of us, I didn't know what to do. I was just completely lost. I was like, there's a little door. Looks like a little cave door or whatever. I go in, I get a sword, and I come out, and I just take out walking, and I get killed. And then I, you know, little by little, I start figuring it out. And oh my God, dude, like, I fell completely in love with this game. Let me tell you, this became my favorite game of all time. As a matter of fact, this is the first game that I have ever bought. This is my first game that I've ever bought with my own money. So I was like, what? It's something that's what makes this game special to me, because you know, we go to bingo, I win $100, and my grandma takes me to Kmart the next day, and I buy this game. My very first game that I've ever bought in my life was The Legend of Zelda. So, and I fell in love with this game. I played it every single day. Forget going outside. That shit's done. I'm done with that. This is my life now. This became my life. And, you know, obviously, I don't have the box anymore. I don't have the instruction booklet or nothing that came with it. But I do have this, which you saw, which is my original game from back in the day. This is it right here. It's a little, you know, a little worn. It's a little worn, but this is my original copy, my very first video game that I've ever bought. And believe it or not, this still has my save on it, because I've never, dude, this still has my save on it from 1988. It's still on this game. I popped this game in an NES probably a couple years ago, and my save is still on here. I couldn't believe it. And you're probably not going to believe this, but I never finished this game. To this day, I've never finished this game. I have never finished it. And I thought, you know what, man? That's crazy. Oh, and I have to get this clamshell case because I wanted to keep this thing safe. This is never gonna get played again, ever. It's gonna forever be in this case. And this case is cool because it looks like the box, you know. And if I could ever find a box to replace this with like all the inserts, that would be amazing. But dude, no, I'm serious. Like, I've never finished this game ever, and I thought, you know what, man? Seeing how Tears of the Kingdom's coming out, dude, that's crazy, right? That's how long, dude. We were going from this, and now we're getting Tears of the Kingdom in about a week, and I'm excited, man. I can't wait. I already have the game pre-ordered, so hopefully I get it on the day that it comes out from Amazon. I think that's how it works. I'm not too sure, but I want to play it, you know, day one as soon as it gets here. That's why I'm not playing after I finished. Jeez, what the hell was I playing? It's not funny, boy. What the hell was I playing? Dude, my mind went completely blank. What game was I playing? Resident Evil 4. That's what it was. Jeez, man. My mind went blank. I got so excited about Tears of the Kingdom, I completely forgot the game I just finished. That's why I told myself that after I get done with Resident Evil 4, that's it, man. I'm done playing games until Tears of the Kingdom come out, and that's the game that I'm going to be playing for probably the next 2 months, 3 months maybe. It took me 3 months to finish Breath of the Wild, because I was trying to do everything that you could possibly do, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm predicting it's going to take me about 3 months to finish Tears of the Kingdom, and that's fine. That is completely fine. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and share the story with you about, you know, the first video game that I bought, my experience with the original Legend of Zelda. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope it didn't bore you too much, and if you're still watching right now, thank you for sticking around. I have to talk a little bit louder because my son's being a little bit loud, but yeah, like I said, I just want to come on here and share the story with you, and I can't wait. I can't wait for Tears of the Kingdom to come out. That's going to be a lot of fun. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.